Hey everyone, my name is Courtney and welcome back to my channel. You could tell that I am a little rusty with the vlogging because this vlog was supposed to start on Friday and it's now Tuesday. We are doing the Losers Club Readathon this week. I had a little bit of a late start because on Friday my brother and I drove to Chicago. We went to Riot Fest. That's why my voice is still just a little bit fried. It was so much fun. We were only there for 24 hours, but we got to go to some of my favorite places like Parsons, Hex, Spinning Jay. Got to stay with one of my best friends from the city, Amanda. And it was just so good to see her too, like to have a familiar face around when we were only there for a short period of time. Riot Fest was awesome. We saw The Descendants, Taking Back Sunday, and My Chemical Romance. I have never seen The Descendants before. I was a little bit nervous because like when you listen to them, they're in their prime, like in the 80s, and they've obviously aged. Still incredible. Taking Back Sunday and My Chemical Romance, I haven't seen since 2005, I think. And so the fact that I can have memories that are 17 years old is just like, makes me feel ancient, but they both still crush it. We came back to Detroit on Saturday, and from there I had an Oktoberfest party to go to for my cousin. She is a home brewer, and it's just been busy. You know, one of the cool things about moving to Michigan is that I get to see my family all the time, but then it kind of gets in the way of reading sometimes. But we're making it work. So you will, after this, see clips from Friday at Riot Fest. I have also taken maybe 2 other clips since then. And then after today, things will hopefully be getting back on track. The Losers Club Readathon, I think, is going until Friday. It's hosted by Beth from Beth's All Booked, Elizabeth from Reading Riley, and Ashley from Ashley's Little Library. So far, I have participated in the movie watch, which fills the prompt for the Aladdin movie theater. We watched 1922 last night, and it was so fun. I've never done a buddy read on Discord before with a bunch of other people where we all hit play at the same time, and it was so much fun just being able to experience that movie. I've tried watching 1922 before and thought it was a little boring, but watching it with other people and having a chance to like talk about it made it a lot more fun. And even my husband was into watching everybody's GIF reaction in the Discord. So we did the buddy watch. I am currently doing the buddy read, which is reading 1922. I have it in full dark, no stars. I took the book jacket off. I'm only about 10 pages in. I've heard that shit ramps up really fast. It hasn't quite ramped up yet, but you know, we've got the really gross descriptions of this wife. She is sort of being framed as the villain, even though it is the husband that kills her. And what is happening is that they own a farm. They don't seem to have a lot of money. And the wife doesn't like living on the farm. She's never taken to the farm life. And she has inherited 100 acres from her father. She would like to sell it, move to the city, kind of start a new life and just take that money. Whereas her husband really just wants 180 acres. He doesn't want to move to the city. He doesn't want his son to move to the city, and he wants all of this land to be left to their son someday. So now the father is sort of scheming with the son to try and off the wife. So that's where I'm at right now in that, and that will fill the buddy read prompt. I have also finished reading The Deep by Nick Cutter. I am reading this for a video on aquatic themed horror, but I am going to count this towards the reading challenge as well since I finished it after it started. Wolf is liking playing with it, so he's going to take it. But this fills the prompt for the Paul Bunyan statue, which is a book with red on the cover. I don't want to get too into it in this video because I am dedicating a whole video to water-themed horror soon. I will say, though, that The Deep was awesome. I have somehow never read Nick Cutter before. I haven't read The True. I purely picked this up because it was recommended as a water-themed horror book. I am so glad that I read it. It was so claustrophobic. The body horror, there's like There are so many scenes that will really just be burned in my mind, unfortunately, for a long time. And he just really did a great job at creating this tension and this dread. We're following a veterinarian named Luke, and he is living in a world where there is this pandemic that is essentially making everybody have Alzheimer's at the same time. Some people are immune, some people aren't. He has not gotten this disease yet, and he is contacted by the government because they have received a transmission a few days ago from his brother begging him to come see him. His brother is at the bottom of the Mariana Trench, 8 miles below the surface of the ocean. He is in a research lab down there researching this like mysterious substance that they're calling ambrosia. And they're thinking that this ambrosia is going to be the cure to this Alzheimer's like disease, and that it could possibly cure a bunch of other diseases as well. Luke is pretty much like, well, this is fucking weird. Like, I haven't talked to my brother in years. He missed my wedding. He's never met my wife. He never met my son. He wasn't there for me when my son disappeared. Got my book back. But the work that his brother is doing is so important that he decides to go, especially because it is so rare that his brother is asking him for help. So he makes the trip to the bottom of the ocean, and it's very apparent that it's just a place where no humans should be. Like, people are not meant to be down there. As soon as he gets to this research lab, he could tell that shit ain't right, you know? Like, his brother is not himself. There's one other surviving scientist. He seems to have gone mad, and just the vibes are not immaculate down there. Luke himself quickly starts to feel himself like lose his sense of mental clarity, right? Like, he's starting to feel like he's hallucinating, he's seeing things, and it just becomes his mission to get the hell out of there, which of course is easier said than done at the bottom of the ocean. Great book. I'm going to talk more about it, and it's like Stephen King connections and things like that during my water themed horror, but it was a 4 out of 5 for me, and I definitely really enjoyed it. Those are all the updates that I have for today. Today, my main focus is reading as much as I can from 1922. And I think we're just going to have a low-key family day today. My husband and I want to get some lunch, do some grocery shopping, make a cozy dinner, maybe watch a movie. And that's all we've really got going on today. I will hopefully be back tomorrow with an update on my reading and be better about catching some B-roll today. See you guys tomorrow. Good morning, everyone. You might have been wondering to yourself, did Courtney get her shit together? Did she actively vlog? Did she do a good job at it? And the answer to that would be no. Today is now Monday. The Losers Club Readathon ended end of day on Thursday, and I actually had thought that it ended at the end of day on Friday. So I was a day behind. I don't think I quite hit the goal for 5 prompts. I did finish reading The Deep, which counted for a creepy setting and for a book with red on the cover. I did make myself a beverage, a very delicious canned margarita. And I did participate in the Buddy Watch for the movie 1922 on Netflix. So I was right between the prompts for like 3 goals and 5. As for my vlogging, I am just really finding my groove. I've really been all over the place with like my reading, personal life, everything. I started a new position at my job. So I've been really working hard at that and just doing new projects and trying to find my footing there. My mom has been in town, so we've been spending a lot of time with her. And it's just tough. Like when I go somewhere, like in Chicago, it was really easy to blend in or at least like feel like nobody was paying attention to anything that I was doing, like if I was capturing B-roll somewhere. And here, whenever I go somewhere, there's so few people there that I feel like it's just obvious what I'm doing. Sorry for the background noise. Wolf is just like running around with his walker right now. And so all of those things have made it hard for me to like read, come on here and talk about reading. And I feel myself getting back to it, especially with October. I have so many books that I'm super excited to read. And I just promise you guys that this will be like the worst vlog for me that you'll see. I actually thought about not posting this at all because it's like not great. But we all have those times, right? So you'll at least have seen some footage from last week and a couple of other shots. And we did at least read a couple of books. Even though I was a day late, I did finish 1922 in Full Dark No Stars by Stephen King. And I really love this story. I think that it's something I'm definitely going to keep in my back pocket for when I meet a Stephen King skeptic who thinks that he can't write. This is a story that definitely reminds you how good of a writer he is. Like the prose is just excellent. The voice is so strong from our main character. And there are just so many genuinely creepy, kind of gory, almost like body horror moments that take place in this story. I think in my last update, I had read up until like only like 13 or 14 pages where we have Wilfred, our main character, and he's trying to convince his wife to sign over the 100 acres that her father left to her so that they can have this big farm. He doesn't want the pig slaughter place a few farms over to take over and just kind of pollute their streams and have to hear everything that happens there. And he ends up convincing his son to help him murder his wife. And the story definitely does not end there. The murder is just the catalyst for the downfall of their family and Wilfred's spiral into madness. He is continuously seeing rats everywhere. They are following him. They are infiltrating his house, his barn. His son really grows to resent him for what he did. And his son is a lot more fragile about it than he expected and just not handling it well. He's acting really creepy, a little strange, a little withdrawn from his father and his girlfriend. And I don't want to spoil it too much. I think that it is fun going into this one a little bit more blind and just having those basic facts. It did remind me very much of Dolores Claiborne by Stephen King, and in Dolores Claiborne, there's also a well that plays a major factor. It is also a spouse confessing to killing her spouse, and the voice ends up being very similar. Dolores is not haunted at all by what she did. I think that her case was a lot more justified. And it also takes place in Hemingford Home, which is another similar to Castle Rock or Derry in Stephen King books. It pops up quite often, most notably in The Stand, where we have Mother Abigail, who is like the force of good in The Stand, and she lives in Hemingford Home. So that's been my reading this week, The Deep and 1922, and that was it. September has kind of been a rocky reading month for me in general. I think that August was a big push to like get moved, get settled in. You know, it's hard to believe we've only been here like 4 weeks. Sometimes it feels like it's been a lot longer. And now we're just really getting acclimated to living. Like my husband's whole work schedule changed, my whole work schedule changed, and all of my duties there. So it's definitely just a period of acclimating and getting used to life here. I think it's only going to get better from here on out, especially as I find my footing even more and get into all of these great books that I have to read for the month of October. Thank you guys so much for watching this Hot Mess Express. If you are new here, you probably won't feel like subscribing, but I promise you there's some good stuff coming and there's some good stuff in my archives as well. So please be sure to hit that subscribe button, like this video. It gives me a confidence boost every time. And leave a comment down below with a red balloon emoji if you've made it this far. And also let me know, did you participate in the Losers Club Readathon? Did you end up doing the buddy read? I would love to talk about 1922 with more people. The Discord conversations were awesome, and I would just love to keep talking about it. Happy reading, everyone, and cheers!